So I've been grinding lately. Had to go back to the fucking lab, readjust some shit in my brain, put a lot of miles in. Every day, run over 20 miles a day, getting up early, going to bed early, eating the right shit. This last week, started taking a toll on me. I usually don't think too much. Get my shoes on, head the fuck out. I've been thinking a lot. That internal voice has been talking to me. Talking about, oh man, you're tired. Looking at my shoes about 30 minutes before I put the motherfuckers on. Pushing back the time of that I go out to go run. So I decided to tape record myself. That internal voice I put on tape. Sounds like a straight bitch when I listen to that motherfucker. So if you ever have a hard time out there, tape yourself. Listen to what kind of bitch you're being.
Hold on just a minute there. Who is this man who, for seemingly no reason at all, has apparently decided that I am weak? Well, that man is David Goggins, and before you ask a follow-up question of why does he get to say if I'm weak or not, let's dive a little deeper into who David Goggins truly is. Among many other accomplishments, David Goggins is a Navy SEAL, ultramarathoner, former pull-up world record holder, motivational speaker, author of 2 books, and above all, one of the toughest people on this planet. His first book is a 2018 autobiography titled Can't Hurt Me. In it, Goggins shares his life journey of how he became so accomplished after suffering through a childhood filled with poverty, racism, and physical abuse. In the book, Goggins hurls you into the hard-hitting reality he subjected himself to, en route to becoming who he is today. He takes you through all of his pain and suffering, sugarcoating absolutely none of it. And today, I want to talk about how he did that, why he did that, and how all of us common folk can try to emulate his work. The way that Goggins has achieved so many of his insane feats starts with setting goals. His life has long been mission-driven. Become a Navy SEAL, run 100 miles in under 24 hours, break the pull-up world record. Setting big goals gave him a purpose and, of course, initial motivation. Of course, goals alone are not enough. At one point in the book, Goggins writes, "Humans tend to hatch our most challenging goals and dreams, the one that demand our greatest effort yet promise absolutely nothing, when we are tucked into our comfort zones. Having hard-to-reach goals will only get us into challenging positions, not all the way to the finish line." This is why Goggins stresses mental toughness above all else in life. No matter what your goal is, you need to be mentally strong in order to achieve it. If you aren't, then you may end up like the 24-year-old, 300-pound, extremely depressed exterminator David Goggins. That's right, the fit man you saw running at the start of this video once looked like this. He had no control over his mind, and as a result, his life. So what did he do? First, he took accountability for his bad place in life. He had put himself there, and it was his job to drag himself out. Next, he put everything he had into achieving his goal, which at the time was qualifying to be a Navy SEAL. This meant purposely embracing pain, day in and day out. Not for nothing, of course. This pain calloused his mind to help him push further than ever before. Unfortunately, pushing yourself hard is also almost never enough. In fact, Goggins found that pushing himself to his quote-unquote limits really only meant that he was reaching about 40% of his physical capabilities. His mind was telling him that his body was done when his body still had 60% more to give. Knowing him, he obviously discovered this while running one of the toughest 100-mile races in the world, which he would then go on to finish. Now, we've all wanted to quit at something before, not necessarily just a physical thing either, but if we haven't forced our mind to be quiet while we kept going despite our doubts and desires to stop, then we haven't truly given it our all. The 40% rule is about finding our limits and still pushing forward because we can. We can do it. Now, the first time is always the hardest. Goggins gives the analogy of a boxer who gets destroyed by one punch in the jaw on their first training session ever. But by their 10th year, they'll be able to go 12 rounds and continue to get up when knocked down, because by this point they will have always gotten up. They've expanded their ability to fight through pain. Their body was forced to adjust to take hit after hit because their mind adjusted first. Another thing the boxer can be tied to is the cookie jar, the next thing that Goggins uses to achieve his goals. The cookie jar is a concept that he describes as something he employs whenever he needs a reminder of who he is and what he's capable of. It is not a physical jar of cookies, as I very much doubt Goggins today can remember what an Oreo tastes like. Rather, the cookie jar is a mental jar that holds memories of past victories. For Goggins, that's conquering his fear of water or becoming a Navy SEAL. For someone else, it could be nailing a presentation or passing a hard test in school. The victories themselves aren't what's important. What is important is digging deep and remembering the emotional state felt during those victories, big and small. Using even small victories as a reminder of what is possible enables us to continue pushing through the pain. Remember, our pain is largely mental, so we must do what we can to win the mental battle. I actually use this strategy for taking cold showers, which is something I've started doing only this year. Every day I tell myself that I took a cold shower yesterday, so I can do it today. I always want to make the water warmer, but I didn't make it warmer yesterday, so I won't today either. This cycle allows me to give the me of tomorrow something to look back on, a little victory that signifies today's ability and tomorrow's possibility. Dig into your cookie jar whenever you truly need that extra kick of motivation. So why does David Goggins do this? Why has he, for the past 20 years, put himself through what is essentially torture, day in and day out? What does he get out of it? According to the book, he wants to be the hardest man alive. Big pause. I'm just kidding. He really does want to be the baddest man to ever walk the earth, the one warrior, a man who leaves nothing on the table in life, a man who reaches his full potential, a man who earns his final resting place. And he does live this way, but he does all this for a bigger reason too. I may be cheating a bit by referencing an interview, but at one point in one of his interviews, he says that all of this training and self-destruction that he puts himself through will help him for the hardest day in his life, when his mom dies, because he won't be able to just fall apart. He'll still have all his responsibilities to take care of, and life will go on. David Goggins is putting himself in painful places to be ready to battle the involuntary pain, the pain that life throws at all of us. Everyone has a life. The majority of people want to improve their life in some way. A smaller percentage have the motivation to start doing so. Even fewer have built up the discipline to do so. Be one of the few. Be uncommon. As David Goggins says, you're gonna die never even trying to reach your full potential. Become your best self, and don't make room in your life for quitting, because if it's an option, it will become reality. Stay hard.